Lamine Yamal, in his mind, I honestly believe he wants to be the best player in the world with Barcelona.
I hope we are as cautious as we should be because he's still young.
He wants to be the best player in the world.
But let the child rest.
I
He's
don't-
still a child.
I don't agree.
Let him rest.
Special episode Euro 2024 Copa America reactions. This is gonna be amazing because we're about to go bold. Hopefully you will go bold and comment down below and like this video. And yes, Breton, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm a little fatigued after staying up for what was a crazy Copa America game that went to extra time. Lautaro Martinez with the decider, but also earlier in the day watching what was a stunning Euro final. And my goodness, it's hard to see these tournaments come to an end, Alex. I had a lot of fun, especially getting over there to Portugal. Had a lot of fun just watching the rise of this Spanish national team once again. And I'm going to say it before, we go through specifics. Football won. The best team throughout the tournament was either Spain or Germany. Spain vanquished Germany. Spain wins the tournament, and football won for all of us, I believe. I know that makes a lot of English listeners sad, but you have to at least give credit where credit is due. Spain came to ball, and that's what they did. 7 wins in 7, possibly one of the best runs to a Euros final, Euros title ever. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
For sure. I'm going to say, for me, Spain in Euro 2024 was one of the best tournaments I've seen from a national team. For sure. 7 games, 7 wins, 12 goals scored, only 4 suffered. Who's the star of the team? The star is the collective. Even Luis de la Fuente is getting the deserved credit for what's happening in this national team. Only manager to win in the under-19s, under-21, Nations League, and Euros 2. Amazing what he's done. And he's been in charge for how many matches? 22 official matches. Nations League and Euros 1. Luis de la Fuente is the right man. And Pablo Gavi injured. Many people doubted Spain, Cucurella, what they had to offer. And yes, they made it happen. Rodri it's amazing what Rodri is doing too in football. Rodri is the best defensive mid in football. We can say the best midfielder or alongside with Jude Bellingham. But the truth is, Rodri, since the start of last year, he's been the player of the best player in tournaments like FIFA Club World Cup, Champions League, Nations League, and now the Euros. Rodri is the leader and the man that makes everything tick. Masterclass against Germany that we saw together. That was an unreal match from Rodri just right there. So yes, I like Spain winning this because yes, you said football won. And Lamine Yamal.
Well, that's that's the crazy thing that we have to reflect on here is that if this tournament happened 1 year earlier, we're not even talking about Lamine Yamal, right? I mean, I think we're talking about Lamine Yamal a year removed from maybe making his UEFA Youth League debut at that point. But obviously, this does not happen without Lamine Yamal, without Nico Williams really stepping it up on those wings and just providing this kind of, not scattershot, but this kind of like unpredictability that really helped Spain. For some reason, the favorites in this tournament, France and England specifically in this, decided that bunker ball, not really bunker ball, but more defensive ball was going to be the way to get there. And results do speak for themselves. They tend to go very long into tournaments. But in the end, Spain's ball, the way they played, like you mentioned, Rodri, like the most incredible detail of this whole thing is that second half where Spain won this match versus England. That second half, they had no Rodri. They had no Pedri. They had no Gavi, which obviously they knew going into it, right? And they were able to still win that midfield. And Zubimendi obviously showing exactly what has made him so coveted previous to this. And Nico and Lamine just working as hard as they could up until, I don't think Lamine was pulled off until the 89th minute.
Yes.
So just so much that should have happened
and two names
on the
Two names,
yes,
Fabian Ruiz and Dani Olmo too. Crucial.
For sure.
Crucial.
For sure.
Pedri out, Dani Olmo in, top scorer of the Euros, and he
Yeah.
was really efficient towards making problems for this team. But Foden was always on top of Rodri. So defensively, at least one-on-one in that game, that's something that we must say praise on him. But yes, we know the stats line aren't the best for Phil Foden. But Lamine Yamal, young player of the tournament. Lamine Yamal could have been the player of the tournament too. That wouldn't be so bold, okay? He would deserve it. 17 years old right now. He's the man, the main responsible. Cross out against Germany. France out against Mbappe. And now England losing in the final with Jude Bellingham, their star player. Real Madrid fans, you are warned. Because Nico and Lamine Yamal, if Nico goes to Barca, it's game over. Game over. And I love what you said, Bretson, because it's factual. Spain were very fortunate for the right timing with their manager, with their wingers, with Nico and Lamine, 100%. Nico Williams has 103 games in La Liga played, 122 for Atletico de Bilbao at 22 years old. Nico's experienced enough to take the risk, and he knew with Lamine Yamal, it was possible. The whole group knew. Cucurella stated before the first match, and Spain, it must be said, it will be historic. And we will talk about this, Breton. We will mention to our grandchildren one day, hopefully, about Lamine Yamal and what he did at the age of 16. He beats Croatia, he beats Italy, he beats France, he beats Germany, he beats England. Honestly, we're more hyped for next season El Clasico for Lamine Yamal than Mbappe maybe at Real Madrid. Lamine Yamal is that guy. And he's a Ballon d'Or contender next season, most possibly. So, golden boy. Golden boy. I wanted to give this big credit. Big N2, Lamine for Spain, 14 matches, 3 goals, and 8 assists, 11 goal involvements. For people to have an understanding, Saka for England has 4 assists ever. So Lamine just in the Euros, in the round of 16, quarterfinal, semi-final, and final, equaled the amount of assists that Saka awarded in the past best English player. Lamine equaled that in one tournament. And Foden with 4 goals. He's got 3 goals already.
And I hate to bring it up, but 5 goal involvements in 4 knockout games. That matches somebody else. It matches a lot of names out there.
True.
But it also matches Cristiano Ronaldo. Not a knock necessarily. That's literally just giving you scale as to what Lamine Yamal has done. And it's just insane that this kid has come on as fast, as hard as he has. And I think what everybody's wondering next, or is now wondering, is what happens next in terms of his development. And the only thing I can say here, and nobody's going to listen to me, but the only thing I can say is I hope we are as cautious as we should be because he's still young. Obviously, he just grew up. He just became a man in this particular tournament, essentially, because, he is the youngest now ever to participate, I believe, in a major international final, beating none other than Pele's 1958 record, right? So he's just grown up really quickly within our eyes within the last month or so. He was obviously doing it with Barcelona. But now I want to stress caution. Give this kid a month and a half off, right? Give him time. He's not going to want to take time off.
I don't agree.
But let the child rest. He's still a child. Let him rest.
I disagree completely because just like Pele, Lamine Yamal is a one-in-a-kind player. And a one-in-a-kind player has to be treated differently. And people can say, Ansu Fati this, Ansu Fati that. Did Ansu Fati have an output for Spain like Lamine Yamal had? He's got literally, I stated, 14 games for Spain, 3 goals, 8 assists. Fati didn't have this. Fati played with Messi. Lamine Yamal didn't have that chance. And Lamine Yamal, you can feel it. He wants to be the best player in the world. Inspired by Neymar in the past. Inspired by Messi. I feel it differently, and I disagree with you with that, Preston. Because special players need special, different treatment.
Well, but that's the thing. Now look at what has happened to Pedri. What has happened to Gavi? Gavi missed out on this chance. That's fine. But what I'm saying is, yes, special players deserve special treatment. He's got time. He has time. It is not necessarily all happening, within the next year. Give the kid a month or two off. Let him take some time. So I'm just hoping that, there's a little restraint in wanting to turn this child into the new face. It's already
He is
happening,
the new
but
face.
the new face. And you know what? With that, I
Deservingly.
think there needs to be restraint. I think there needs to be restraint.
Because
I
I
agree with
disagree
you. I don't think
completely.
I don't think there's going to be restraint.
And
I
they
think this kid
shouldn't.
is going to play everything imaginable. But yep, and if he winds up getting injured, that's exactly the thought process.
And I disagree
I'm
with
going to have
what you
that.
said now, imaginal too. It's not everything imaginal. He won't play Olympics. And I think in preseason, Barca will be very reluctant towards what they will do. And another thing that
And that's
must be
restraint.
mentioned, Rafinha
Restraint.
plays right winger too. I do not
Yep.
believe that he will play every game, especially when it's the German manager, Hansi Flick, that he's had in the past, Jamal Musiala. I'm not saying he would
Yeah.
have been my choice too, but I think Hansi Flick, in terms of physical ability for a player, he's quite good understanding how to play a player in terms of their development. We saw that with Alphonso Davies firsthand.
Yep.
Came from MLS, very different player how he's ended up with Hansi Flick too. So, but yeah, again, I think it's different
Listen.
mindsets and how Lamine sets himself in life. I want to say this, and it needs to be special. Lamine Yamal, in his mind, I honestly believe he wants to be the best player in the world with Barcelona. And if that happens in the next 1, 2, 3 years, that I believe it's possible, he showed it in
Yeah.
the Euros against France, against Germany, against England. Come on, no restraints. Make it happen. Invest in this kid because he deserves that. Deserves that. With
Well-
Pedri, Gavi next to him, there's a golden generation coming. Balde, Kubarzi, we
Right.
don't even mention. There's so many talents. Guilherme Fernandez,
But
too. Remember the name.
invest in his career, not in the next. Make it a marathon, not a sprint, please. That's all I'm saying. But you're right. Him not going to the Olympics, that's restraint. I don't think there was ever talk of him going to the Olympics. Hansi Flick potentially giving him more time. That is restraint. What is not going to be restraint, and I wasn't saying that there's necessarily anything on the schedule. Would be a 2-month U.S. trip, playing every friendly under the sun and making sure that everyone gets to see this new boy wonder, Lamine Yamal. So for me, I want him to be at his best, even better at 27. I don't want this to be the pinnacle of his career. I don't think it will be, Alex. I think you're in agreement, obviously, with that too. And I am in agreement that potentially a new golden generation is coming with them. But yeah, I'm more worried.
The longevity
it's
is
the
a
same.
doubt for me. I don't know if he'll be
Yeah,
the
it's the
same player at
Pedri, the
27.
Gavi.
He could be a player
I know.
that's Michael
We'll see.
Owen. We saw Michael Owen be a big-time player earlier in his career, let's say, than after 27, 28.
Right.
So I do not know
Exactly.
what's going to be the case, but one thing I know, Spain, in terms of sports science, are the best in the world. We see that with Alcaraz. We see that with Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso in other sports. We see that in basketball, Gasol, I think, and others. I'm not a basketball expert, but I know football, and I know that Spain are the first country to ever in the Euros to have 4-1. And that's because of their sports science and development in the world of, education. They're very advanced in what they do, and that's not by luck. It's by work.
Yeah,
And Spain,
but
they did that.
they had to win. They had to win this tournament underhanded, right? Especially in the midfield. So that is something to be cautious about. So yeah, the Pedri Gavi thing, I would have loved to have seen them, but it's great for them. Yeah, I mean, for them to not be on the pitch with this, that's tough because they're obviously part of this rise. With that, I mean, Pedri and Gavi were kind of the new generation, the new start of this Barcelona generation, this academy generation that's coming through. Lamine Yamal is the instrument that had delivered them something that I think they so wanted over the last multiple seasons. But yeah, beyond those players, obviously you already mentioned Dani Olmo, but what he did, we've seen this type of performance from him from time to time. He's another guy whose injuries have bit him quite a bit, especially at RB Leipzig. But to see him contribute, not just obviously in this particular match, but also to contribute on the defensive end with that goal line clearance late in the match, it's a great thing. And people must remember that he is also Barca made.
And
Previously
Xavi
took
Simons.
took a weird route to get there.
True.
But took a weird route. Was at Dinamo Zagreb, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And that's pretty amazing stuff. And the other name I have to throw out there was definitely in the team of the tournament for me, was the best left back in the tournament. But Mark Cucurella, I mean, just think about how high profile it was in terms of the just criticisms, I suppose, that not just him, but a lot of the Chelsea team was getting amidst that really incredibly bad run of form while they were still splashing cash, right? For him to kind of get this last laugh against certain he who must not be named pundits out there, for him to get that, for him to actually deliver an assist on the day to is it Oyarzabal, right? It just you have to love it. True. You have to absolutely love it, and he deserves every bit of credit that he gets for this tournament because there was no other left back like him in this tournament next to
Nuno Mendes, I think, and Kadioglu, Ferdi Kadioglu, I'd say.
But Cucurella was the best left back in this tournament, easily.
In terms of form, for the importance too, and the way they play, Cucurella instrumental. I agree with what you said just there. Cucurella assist in the final match, and Carvajal on the other side. What a season Carvajal has had, okay? He wins the UCL.
Ballon d'Or shot?
Wins the La Liga. I'm not going to say Ballon d'Or, but I'm going to put him top 20 Ballon d'Or. Top 20, I think, for a right back like Carvajal at this stage of his career, it's a win. True. And he deserves that credit, okay? I think Carvajal, at the end of his career, will be perceived as one of the best right backs in this generation. And that's successful, and that's deserving for a player with a status at Real Madrid. 6 UCL wins, and now a Euros in which he's a starter. 7 finals, 7 wins. That is pure efficiency. But now, a bit more on the dark end of the Euros. We're in the positive with Spain. A bit on the darker side with England. Unfortunately, things weren't too good. Gareth Southgate now becomes the only manager ever in Euros history to lose 2 finals. 2 finals, that's it. Which is pretty sad. And we can all say, look, Gareth Southgate, I think he shouldn't stay for the World Cup. Okay, no. Personally, even for himself. Jude Bellingham, did he play a good tournament? No. Harry Kane, was he good? No. Foden, was he good? No. There's many players that had an extremely high output for their clubs and not for the English national team. I know Gareth Southgate goes to 2 finals, but even that's the case, I think he shouldn't stay because you need to see Cole Palmer starting more if he's playing the way he is when he comes on. 1 goal, 1 assist, 0 starts, Cole Palmer. Ridiculous. Cole Palmer is that guy, and he deserved to start against Spain. And that's not saying, oh, you're just saying that after the game. No, I would have said it before, okay? And I know Fodri defensively was really good with Rodri, but Jude could have done that at a 8. And Cole, I'm saying cold already. Cole would have added offensively what England lacked the most. That's why Kane played so poorly. No one delivered to the box.
Kane, well, no one delivered to him, but Kane also was doing the whole track back thing into the midfield crap. I mean, he barely had any touches. He had no shots on goal once again. I don't know if this stat is at 100% correct, but it's definitely been multiple finals where Harry Kane has managed to have no shots on goal, period. I think Harry Kane was just as much of a detractor. When you've got progressive players like Foden, and you've got Saka, and you've got Bellingham who want to push forward, and then you've got Harry Kane who meets them in the middle, right? They would have been better off in at least the round of 16 playing more Ollie Watkins, right? Now maybe Ollie Watkins winds up not being the best of strikers. That's fine. But at least with Ollie Watkins, he's a bomb forward type of, almost call him like a box-to-box striker in that sense, where he was going to hustle his butt and make sure that he's on the end of any cross that goes in there. So it was tough to see that with Harry Kane, as if I'm on a first-name basis with the guy. But, it's tough to see it because you see him do all that work for Bayern, right? You've seen him do all that work for Spurs. He shouldn't need to do all that work, right? For England, it was like work to do work instead of actual whatever. And then Gareth Southgate, Alex, for me, killed the game and killed their chances at winning when they didn't go for the jugular. They didn't go harder after that Cole Palmer goal. Jude Bellingham's great layoff as he's falling down in the box. Cole Palmer finishes that thing as we all knew he was going to, right? Side foots it, perfect accuracy. And then after that, what's he do? He's readying defensive subs, right? He's not pressing harder. He's not literally saying, hey, they're shaking. Let's get him, right?
Anthony Gordon?
Yeah, I would have. Gordon would have been a great shout in that moment, for sure. I mean, I don't know if I would have gone Eze, but I would have gone for the jugular, at least go out. It was almost as if he was playing for penalties in some respects. And it didn't register with me in the sense of like, where is the urgency to get this game over with? And that's the difference here. True. I mean, they had a lower XG, this whole flipping tournament, lower expected goals than certain teams that went out in the group stage. True. And they played multiple games more. And in that end, that starts with Southgate. It starts with Southgate. So, yeah, if I'm not saying it's loud and clear, you already said it for us, Southgate needs to go. They need somebody that's going to actually be able to lasso all of this wonderful energy and talent that this team has. So it's more on Southgate than it is on the players. But, yeah, you're right. Like, certain players did not cover themselves in glory because Southgate tried to fit the model or tried to fit the players to the model instead of the model to the players.
I agree. And what I felt with Jude Bellingham at the end of that game was the belief he has even for Gareth Southgate. You could see that Jude Bellingham was asking more offensively, and he himself knew he had to come back and give that space to Cole Palmer. That's what irritated me the most, for me not to say another word. Ollie Watkins and Cole Palmer not coming in together. It worked in the past. The game was clearly shouting for Cole Palmer to come on, and yeah, it's very sad to see that this England team, this golden generation of England, clearly, if Phil Foden wins the best player in the Premier League, best player in the Bundesliga English 2, the best player in La Liga English 2, I haven't seen this happen along too many times in my life. So, England, grab this chance, change the management, get someone with big caliber. I think Thomas Tuchel would accept. Personally, I think Thomas Tuchel would accept being England manager because he knows it's a big payday too, and it's big reputation. Obviously, if it goes right with the right team, right tactics, that he can have it firsthand. Okay, with maybe Mason Mount being back, but that's the name that's not even close to the realm of possibility right now. But yes, I want to say England last tournament won. It was 58 years ago in 1966. Do we get the feeling that Gareth Southgate can make it happen? It's possible, but more likely than not, it's because of the players and not because of the manager. So, make it happen. Change. Get Thomas Tuchel, like I'm saying. He will accept. Or even Graham Potter, I think, would be better than Gareth Southgate. And I'm sorry, Gareth Southgate. And I know it's hard, like getting to 2 finals itself. That's not an easy job, and the players like the manager. You can see it, and he is better than Greg Berhalter. Okay, joking.
Well, here's my worry, sir. Here's my worry. Matt Crocker is probably rubbing his hands together right now as we speak, thinking if Gareth Southgate leaves England, what a better place for him than the USA. Right? What better place for him? But more realistically, he's going to say, hey, well, we reached out to Gareth Southgate. We reached out to Jurgen Klopp. We reached out to all these, all these Zinedine Zidane probably. We just couldn't get them to pick up the phone. So we're going to now give you Steve Cherundolo. That's what's going to happen. But anyway, back to England. What one thing needs to be, we've already kind of alluded to it. You've said it. I've said it. You've called it a golden generation. They are still young. This crew is still young, and they can win a tournament without Harry Kane at the front. That's a question to happen in the future. Or you can win. You can figure out how to win with Harry Kane. But that is the next manager's. Assuming Southgate steps down, that is the next manager's. That's what they have to figure out. That's the puzzle. I think he does stay too, but that is the puzzle because this is still a very, very young crew, and I think that the best part of this England squad didn't get enough love, and that is their defense, cobbled together as it was, their defense was actually pretty solid throughout the tournament. And I don't think Jordan Pickford gets enough credit for how consistently good he is in an England net. And it shocks me, as you know, not saying bad things about Everton, but obviously they've gone through one heck of a last few seasons, right? It surprises me that Jordan Pickford has not made a step up in terms of his club loyalty,
I think he wants
right?
to
In
be a legend
terms
at
of where he
Everton.
lies.
And how
I think
much
he
was
does.
he? How much was he? Like 30 million pounds at that time.
Something like that, yeah. From,
So
was that Sunderland?
exactly. So back in the day, to spend
Yeah.
that type of
Wow.
money, he should. I think he's an Everton fan.
Yeah.
So that could be
Like,
one thing
like,
in the case. But yes, it's pretty sad, and I agree. The player that when you say they're so young, the player that comes to my mind is Kobe Mino. Kobe Mino,
sure.
this tournament, he said to the
Yeah.
world, I'm going to be the starter of England. And that's a big statement, especially when Man United wins the FA Cup because of him. And now the future of Man United fans must be hyped because you have one of the best midfielders in the world of football in the next 5 to 10 years. He's got that intelligence, ball conduction, incredibly gifted player. Mino. So it's exciting
Yeah.
times. Even Rice, 25, I think. So
Yeah.
a lot
Well,
to
true.
happen in the future. But let us know. Why did Harry Kane has 6 finals, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 shots on target? Why does that happen?
Oh,
Why does a Jude Bellingham play so good and yet they cannot win? Let us know in the comments down below on YouTube. Help us out on YouTube. It's a huge help for
my
us here
goodness.
at FC Wonder Kid. And the finalissima is going to happen between Spain and Argentina in 2025. Let us know your thoughts because, yes, Argentina won Copa America now. It's 3 big titles in a row because Finalissima for me is not a big title. And if you count Finalissima, it will be 4. But 2021 Copa America, then they win the World Cup, and now they win the Copa America once again. It's been an unreal run. And I want to give special credits at the start of this video to a man that we've seen him play here, Angel Di Maria, one of the most underrated players in this generation. 145 games, 31 goals, 30 assists. He won the Olympics in the past. He now has these 2 Copa Americas and the World Cup. This man is one of the best players Argentina has had, and he deserves the respect of the world. And I hope to see him at Benfica, which has been confirmed. And yes, Di Maria, go
one more
bold.
season.
One more season. Man of the match.
One more
too,
season.
in his last game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was man of the match.
Man of the match.
Wow. Oh, I even stayed up for it. I was in a trance. It was tough to see. I think I was replaying the game in my head as I was sleeping, which is probably why I woke up so beaten down because that game was just an absolute crunch fest. Colombia definitely were missing Daniel Munoz. Unfortunately, Luis Diaz didn't have the greatest day. But when it came down to the who was going to win, who was going to create the space, it was Scaloni, right, making the right 95th minute subs, reinforcing that midfield to open up that space. They got one tackle, I think it was from Lo Celso, delivered the ball forward, and then Lautaro, another one of his substitutes, which is bonkers. He wins the Golden Boot with 5 goals, 3 substitute appearances, and he scores the match winner. And the most poetic thing about it is they beat a team that were 28 games unbeaten, right? 2.5 years unbeaten. The last team to beat them 2.5 years ago was Argentina. And the last goal scorer against them was, you got it, Lautaro Martinez. Okay? So Lautaro in there, you could see every one of them playing for Messi. Messi had to go off in the 65th, if I'm not mistaken, with a busted ankle, and it does not look good for Messi, it doesn't look good for Messi, but it also doesn't look good for Inter Miami after this tournament at all. But he needs rest. He was playing this particular tournament, you could tell, on a bad ankle to begin with. And he is injured. He's been fighting the injury, so that's a guy that needs some rest. But Argentina, they played for their captain, and they got it. I think Rodrigo de Paul, I know he hasn't quite done what people want him to do at the club level, but him for Argentina complete different beast, man.
Completely.
Rules that midfield. And it's wonderful to see. And Paredes, when he came in, or I think he was in the whole game, but he had a phenomenal second half, phenomenal extra time. These guys just continue to function even when Leo Messi is off the field. And I think that's really important. Like he's just as much Messi on the field is just as much of a motivation. Or I should say this better.
Yeah.
Leo Messi off the field is just as much of a motivational factor as Leo Messi on the field.
True.
And it's crazy to think that we saw two legends of the game both shed tears, in a major tournament, because I think, Alex, we're coming to this realization. I would not be surprised if Leo Messi, woke up a week from now and said, I know 2026 is, going to be here, is going to be in the Western Hemisphere, is going to be very close to home. I know that, but I am done. I'm done. I could see him doing that in a heartbeat.
And I have the feeling Ronaldo's the opposite. Cristiano Ronaldo will want to be in that World Cup in 2026. Interesting enough, yes. And I agree with you. People, haters of Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, were pointing fingers at both of them crying when they're obviously, more than anyone in the world, in that exact moment, more emotionally invested in the team, in everything that they've done until that given moment to become the best in this game. So anyone that mocks, says penaldo, Pessi, don't know ball, ridiculous, do not watch the game, because you're just obviously spreading hates, which doesn't help anyone in this world. Okay, I wanted to state just that. Thank you, Bretson, for saying it just like that. And Lautaro fact, I didn't know that Lautaro is the last man, the man to put the dagger on Colombia.
Awesome.
Lautaro this season, 42 goal involvements. He's the best, the goal scorer in Serie A, top goal scorer. He's a Serie A winner. And he's the goal scorer in the Copa America final. Like, look, could be said in the past, if you listen to the podcast, that I'm a Lautaro hater. Maybe because I'm a Julian Alvarez lover, because all I do is win, is Julian Alvarez. And I love to see Julian Alvarez at Bayern Munich. What will happen? Harry Kane and Julian Alvarez in the same team. What curse would overlook? I'm joking. But with Lautaro, I've got to say big credit to him. But Lautaro Martinez is a top 20 for the Ballon d'Or. Those people that say Ballon d'Or winner do not agree, but I want to give his just dues, because being the best striker in Serie A, being a man making the difference in an Argentina team that will be down in history as one of the best, if not the best too, it's amazing what he has done. And Argentina in these last 5 years, they've got more trophies than they've got losses. So this is an historic team, World Cup winner, Copa America winner twice. Scaloni would also be remembered as one of the best international managers ever with what he's doing. A bit like Vicente Del Bosque is remembered with Spain. I think Scaloni will be just that with Argentina one day. So who knows? Transition to football, to club football one day. He's still young enough. So will it be like Joaquin Love? Let's see. Or Hansi Flick. Won a Champions League too. Exactly.
Another U.S. candidate. No, that's never happening.
Who?
But the Yogi Love.
That would be good. That would be good.
It's never happening. But it would be interesting. Yeah, but I don't think the USSF is interested in going bold. I'll be honest. But hey, with Scaloni, it is. You have to go back, right? You have to go back several years to where Argentina was.
Exactly.
And it felt like not false promises, but it felt like false realization of these promises. And I know Messi was coming off of one of his retirements, right, where he's like, I can't do this anymore. And the manager met the times, and that alone. I mean, even if they lost this final, that alone has been such a ridiculous resurgence in this Argentinian national team that even when Colombia had them seemingly, bending, they just don't break. They don't break at all. And there's this willpower to continue playing that you just felt the longer that game was going on, it was just a matter of time. That's it.
So Fuente will be remembered as the coach of Lamine Yamal. Didier Deschamps will be remembered as the big coach of Kylian Mbappé. Scaloni will be remembered as the coach that made Messi win titles with Argentina. Scaloni, that's a really well way of saying it. Just like Vicente Del
Yeah.
Bosco Iniesta too.
It's true, and
Oh, amazing.
there, and he understands the gravity of the situation, Scaloni. I mean, there's only so much time with Messi left,
True.
in
True.
this
Two
particular
years.
element, and with these types of players, yeah, and he's doing what he can. Hey, you're putting the Golden Boot winner,
Mm-hmm.
right, of this Copa America is coming off the bench, right? That alone, it's all about harnessing what he can to
Well
deliver
said.
the best product, the best way forward for victory, while also realizing that obviously an outsized part of that equation is a behemoth of epic proportions in not just Argentine football, but in world football. And, I got to throw out there, like, obviously, if that was going to penalties, you've got Emiliano Martinez, who's, I guarantee you, in every one of those Colombians' heads. And you've got, Cuti Romero putting in another world-class shift.
Yes.
It's just so many good players on this Argentinian team. I don't know why I said I thought Colombia was going to win it all, but I am going to tell you, right now that Daniel Munoz getting that red card, those injuries, those late fitness issues in that semifinal, I think played a large part in what happened and what why we weren't able to deliver the best Colombia in that final there.
Morocco
But they
vibes.
need to be
Morocco
they need
vibes
to
with
be
that guy.
proud. Yeah, they need to be proud with how they did there.
For sure.
And they've only won one Copa America. It was back in 2001.
And
But it is never easy seeing a guy as good as James Rodriguez, especially as
yes.
good as James Rodriguez is for Colombia. Never easy seeing him collect the player of the tournament right after he loses in the final.
True.
But my goodness, man, I mean, did
Deserved.
he deserve every
Hmm.
bit of that award? Because what a tournament. What a tournament for them. And 2026, watch out because
Will
they
Rames be in 2026 for Colombia?
I think he will. I think it will. What they need is what I didn't see. And for some reason, I'm blanking on the Colombian manager's name right now. But it would have been really nice to see some young
Fernandez.
attackers. Yeah, I would have been really nice to see a Sinistera late in that match, or a Jean Duran or Yasser Asprilla. But we didn't see any of that. Yeah.
Developing. And yes, true. And then
Eh,
when I think of the future of South America, I'm thinking more of these Brazilian Hendrik, William Stevo, and Kendry
mm,
Paez with Ecuador. But they're going to deliver. Richard Rios could be the big
yeah.
revelation of Copa America. What a game
Oh,
against Argentina. And I think it was Stevo, it's Hendrik, Luis Guilherme, now to West Ham. Richard Rios is next. Palmeiras,
yeah.
what a
Or,
player
or
they have just there. And you said with Rames, hopefully Rames will go to the World Cup. And in Copa America, top assister. No player has more assists than Rames
mhm.
Rodriguez in one edition of Copa America. Personally, vai para o Porto. I really hope he goes back to Porto, where he was once happy. Now with Vilas Boas president, look, not the best player at São Paulo, or not happy at São Paulo, maybe. He'll be
Well,
happy at Porto. Bora lá, Porto. Make it happen with Rames Rodriguez. I would love to see James Rodriguez play one more season live. That's one of those things that I hopefully will happen too. But I want to ask you,
yeah.
Breton, because the big
Mhm,
stars of CONCACAF and Copa America, Jesse Marsh,
mhm.
Canada, fourth place, but they fought hard for that third place. They went to penalties with Uruguay. So
They did.
Canada, like the future of Canada's in the right hands with Jesse Marsh, isn't it, Breton?
It seems to be, but in one match you saw the positivity of Jesse Marsh, and you also saw the negativity or the ceiling in what he offers long term tactically as a coach. There were multiple chances for them to put that game on ice, and I'm gonna say it: they were better than Uruguay 95% of that game.
Canada.
95%. Yeah, Canada were better than Uruguay 95% of that game. Now, if we play that game 5 times over, I don't think that happens all 5 times. Don't get me wrong. But they created, I think, 5 clear-cut chances, whereas Uruguay wasn't doing much. And you also, on the flip side of things, saw Bielsa's limit when it comes to what he's been doing with Uruguay at this moment. I think most Uruguayan fans, even with that third place finish, will come out of that with kind of a negative taste on their mouth, if that's even a possible thing, because they felt just kind of like England light in that sense. They felt based on the players they had, who was healthy, who was ready to go, the coach, the Bielsa ball, they thought they should have played much better. But that goes back, you're right, to Jesse Marsch instilling this frantic, go for the jugular, always keep running. He plays to the strengths of the Canadian pipeline right now, and it showed in that game. And I think the only thing that stunk there was that they couldn't get it over the line in PKs, and frankly, they couldn't get it over the line when they had a 2-1 lead in injury time. But that's it.
Oh, Jesse Marsch, though, 7 games in charge. Could he beat the U.S. and Mexico direct matches, 1-on-1? Let's wait and see if that will happen, okay? Because, well,
I hope not. It really could happen, but this is the weird thing, right? And this is where that you were just about to say it, I think, and I'm taking the words out of your mouth. But Canada is the only CONCACAF quote unquote power that took this Copa America for what it was worth, which is to make a statement, right? To do something big, to do something bold, right? To go where very few CONCACAF teams have gone, to finish 4th place when you meld both of the Western Hemisphere's biggest soccer federations, football federations together. They're the only team to do it. The USA and Mexico, aside from, CONCACAF Nations League, Gold Cup next summer, they don't have these opportunities moving forward. That was it. And they missed it. They missed the mark. Jimmy Lozano's out at Mexico, upheaval. Greg Berhalter's out at in the USA, upheaval right now. And on top of that, the whole entire, country of the United States is getting dragged, erroneously, I might add, for how this Copa America was run. Because don't get me wrong, we're not talking about the insanity that ensued that led to me not getting any sleep last night, which was a... Oh my gosh, they gave Hervé Renard. Well, yeah, that could fix a lot of things, but they missed this opportunity. CONCACAF missed this opportunity. At least USA and Mexico did. I'm happy that at least Canada were able to say they were in a rut, and that's why they brought in Jesse Marsch. They have financial issues in their federation, but those players are so much better than they had been playing, and they showed it in Copa America. They should be proud. Absolutely proud. So I'm proud of Canada too, even if it is an extension a little bit, because some of those guys play in MLS, some of those guys play here domestically. We see them week in, week out. It just makes me hurt even more that the USA and Mexico failed massively in that tournament.
Panama, I'm never going to lose that in my mind, especially when Messi, it could be his last Copa America. So U.S. fans, when they think of last Copa America of Messi, they'll think of the rise of Canada with Jesse Marsch and the downfall of U.S. men's national team. It's insane. Well, not downfall, no. It'll be ascension with the next manager. Let's be positive. It's going to work out in 2026. But I'm going to be negative once again because I think I want to be devil advocate here for Uruguay. I think that Colombia-Uruguay game it altered the minds a lot of the players when they know Jimenez went and said publicly in the flash interview, post-interview after, like, our families were in risk. We would see the Colombian fans, like, shouting at their families. And I think the mental aspect of the security of their families did have something in account for the Uruguayan players. Darwin Núñez missed many chances against Colombia that, look, that's not too usual to see with Uruguay. I'm not saying with Liverpool. Liverpool fans shouting at the screen. But with Uruguay, he's quite lethal. And then that match itself with Colombia, I think those players, it changed their mindset for this Copa America organization, the CONMEBOL. It's disrespectful that the CONMEBOL ran things how they did. In the final, people were going up the ventilation to get inside. FIFA resolved this, not for the World Cup, for the FIFA Club World Cup next summer. I think that's what it will be solved. I think it will not be the case. I think much more stadiums will be full to watch, big time teams. Yeah. So hopefully things will improve, but we must see this as warning signs for bad things that can happen with the World Cup in the future. So hopefully it will not be the case with FIFA, but CONMEBOL, take notes. That cannot happen. Never happen.
No. And it was shades. It was actually worse shades, I think, of that Euro. That was Euro 2021 final, right? In Paris. Where there was a delay there too,
true.
People were stampeded tickets. But yeah, no, people I don't think were climbing through the ventilation back then. So
sorry.
No. I mean back in France, right?
Got you.
Yeah. But the people that were saying, I think it was tough, kind of discerning between CONMEBOL, who's running it, who's doing this, who's at fault, because obviously we want a point, right? Uruguayan families, not only that, Argentinian families, right, before the final, they felt the exact same way. And I don't know if it's right to put it all on CONMEBOL's shoulders. It probably is,
Copa
right?
America.
But I do want to let people know. I mean, we don't just in the States have these gargantuan cavernous stadiums. I wish we had it just for soccer, right, or for football, world football. But we don't just have these gargantuan stadiums to sit dormant for the next Copa America to come around. Every week there are massive events being run there. And the USSF, as much as they overcharge and whatnot, they generally have a pretty good track record. Except in DC, I hate DC. Washington DC is terrible.
I get you.
But they have a good. They have a good.
Yeah. It's like, will it be full? Hopefully, it will.
It will. It will. I mean, the group stage games and the expansion. That's going to be obviously a new territory for everybody in terms of a quote unquote watering down of whatever. We're not going to get Liechtenstein versus Moldova. No offense to Liechtenstein or Moldova, but I think you're going to see. Especially you get to knockout rounds, you get to the marquee matchups in the group stages. It is going to set records. It's going to bring in more money than ever before. And the only thing that's going to get in the way of it is if it is not logistically smooth. And I'm here to tell you that I am uber confident that in 2026 the World Cup will move smoothly, very smoothly, much like 1994 did. Much like 1994 did.
Will it be full stadiums with U.S. fans, you reckon, or with 50-50?
Oh gosh,
out of curiosity.
The day that the stadium is full with U.S. fans is the day I know football has finally made it in the States here. Unfortunately, even if the U.S. is playing Mexico, and even if they're playing in, I don't know, St. Louis, right? Middle of the road, Midwest, right? United States. Mexican fans are rabid, and they find a way to snap up those tickets, as they dang well should. Colombian fans will do the same thing. But a lot of those, they might be Colombian American. They might be Mexican American, right? They might actually wear a shirt that has one side U.S., the other side Mexico. That's the crazy part about the dynamics, the demographics of the United States, and that's why I am not worried. 2026, you will see throngs of fans rushing to these games, and hopefully in a much more orderly manner than what happened in Miami. But yeah, it's a stain.
Because what people are doing right now, just being devil advocate, people are looking at Copa America and looking at the Euros, and they're saying, Euros, obviously, I understand where you're going to come from. Saying Germany, a football culture country. But I think true is the logistics. I think Germany are a country that trains can go there easily for a lot of countries. Like they have got good highways, so a lot of people can go and see the games. I think Germany's extremely highly organized. Like for the Euros. It's really good.
I remember being there. I was there in 2006. I was a young buck, but I remember World Cup. Yeah, I got to see a game there. Got to see the USA lose. No, wait. Was that game? No, I didn't see that. No, I'm thinking 1998. But listen, I'm thinking of 1998. I was there as well. But listen, The Copa America 2016, Copa America Centenario, that was actually run by a different crew. That was run by American-based crew, USSF. Okay, and that went pretty dang smoothly.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, I think how this was run, it was not run by them. It should have been run by them, but that was not the mandate. And in the end, I think when you do that, when you cede control of your logistics to others, right? That things like this happen. Absolutely, things like this happen, and it should never happen again. And if you feel like it's not going to happen, if you just put it back in South America, by all means, do that. But here's what I think should happen moving forward. They need to perfect this, because I think moving forward, the Copa America should be all Americas. It should be North and South America. It should be everybody together, because, as much as I love watching CONMEBOL teams kill each other, it does add an element of surprise, of interest to it when you've got history to it when you have the CONCACAF teams fighting in there for relevance. They're literally fighting for their relevant life. They want to be a Colombia, right? Long term. And the only way to get there is to make sure you're playing the best that this hemisphere has to offer. So if you're not gonna, it has to push forward. It just sucks that it ended. Pardon my French, but it sucks that it ended the way that it did, with just a logistical nightmare. I only wish that the people that got injured are okay. But once they get in the stadium, you could not argue for the majority, especially those knockout games. You could not argue that passion in that stadium. That Colombian semifinal win over Uruguay, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Wow.
I saw videos coming from that were like, wow, you couldn't hear yourself think in that stadium. And that's what the World Cup's going to be, when all of that melds together in one large scale environment, which the U.S. is going to be very, very good at doing it.
It was good, but maybe I'm overwhelmed by the Turkish fans and the Spanish fans. Like, wow, I even think myself here in Lisbon, I must have overheard like a boom or a bah! Like people went crazy in Spain with Alcaraz too. What a day it was for Spanish people. Okay, the tennis Alcaraz, he won in Wimbledon, and now they win the Euros in the same day.
Spain, man, it's something about winning finals, right? You're Spanish, you win a final. 23 wins, I think, in 23 club finals. Obviously, you had some Spain teams beating some Spain teams in there, but that still counts. And then 4 international finals, 4 international wins. Spain has something in their genes where it's just like, we get to the final, we know how to get this over the hump. We're going to win it.
And
we're
now
going to
we
lift
get
that
the
trophy.
feeling that Argentina has that with South America. Is
Yes,
that the case? Is that not? And last thing I wanted to ask, so we think Scaloni stays with Argentina in the World Cup. We have Greg Berhalter will definitely not stay. Bielsa, we think, stays for Uruguay. Dorival. Will Dorival stay?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't. I don't even really know what Dorival, his intent was with Brazil in this tournament. It's almost as if he has to give a 10-point PowerPoint on what the hell his job is supposed to be moving forward. Because if you can't find a way to leverage the Vinicius Juniors, the Rodrigos, you can't find a midfield that works together. You don't deserve. You don't deserve it. And based on that showing, I would think that the patience is thin with them. But we'll see. I think he stays.
Hopefully, Brazilian fans, William Estevão comes soon, okay? Because if Rodrigo has 4 games, 0 goals, 0 assists, they need another right winger to go bold. And people say William Estevão is one of the most talented right wingers they've seen ever in Brazil history. Bad news for Rafinha, but good news maybe for Brazilian fans. Let us know. What are your thoughts with Copa America? What are you thinking with the Euros? Do you agree with what we said, me and Bretson? And do you believe, just like I do, I agree with Bretson with what he said, that Copa America should be all the Americas together? I think that's an excellent way of saying how things should be, because US, Canada, Mexico can make history, and who knows, one day when the all Copa America all together, all the Americas, that would be a day to remember, Bretzen. If you're listening
For sure.
until now here at FC Wonder Kid, like this video. It's a huge help for us in our channel. Like our shorts. If you're on YouTube, it's easy. Like the shorts. And yes, help us go bold. Subscribe down below. And it's been an excellent special episode here with Bretzen. Thank you. Thank you so much, community, for listening until now.